True story that happened in a Nigerian village. I still remember the night the shadows came alive, swirling around me as I faced the man who was supposed to be a servant of God. Pastor Ezekiel arrived in our small Nigerian village with a smile that hid the darkness we could never have imagined. Yeah, every time the wind howls through the trees, I can hear those whispers again. And I know that sometimes the devil wears a collar and preys on the desperate. He set up a large tent in the village square, filling it with colorful decorations that fluttered in the breeze. Each evening, he held services, and the air buzzed with anticipation. I stood at the edge, skeptical but drawn in by the excitement. Under the glow of lanterns, Pastor Ezekiel's voice rang out, smooth like honey. People cried, shouted, and danced, captivated by his words. I felt the pressure to join in, clapping along, even as doubt lingered in my heart. Strange things began to happen. A bedridden woman stood up, her eyes wide with disbelief. Villagers gasped in awe as she walked for the first time in months. Others claimed to be healed, their faces alight with joy. The atmosphere grew electric, and I could feel the weight of belief in the air. One night, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, I decided to stay after the service. I hid behind a tree, heart racing, wanting to uncover the truth behind the miracles. As the last worshippers left, I watched Pastor Ezekiel pack up his things. Then a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. A woman with wild hair and a tattered dress approached him. I strained to hear their conversation. To my horror, she wasn't a follower. She was part of his act. Ezekiel handed her money and they laughed together. My stomach churned as reality hit. He was exploiting our desperation. The next day, I gathered a few brave souls, hoping to share what I had witnessed. I felt a mix of fear and determination as I told them the truth. At first, they laughed it off, convinced I was just jealous. But I couldn't let it go. I had to expose him. That night, the tent was packed again. Excitement buzzing in the air. As Ezekiel began his sermon, I stood at the front, my heart pounding. "You're a fraud!" I shouted,